So, Monday again, guys. You might have noticed that I didn't put up a video on Friday last week. And the reason for that was stuff with welding and that kind of side of things is just so time consuming. I couldn't believe this little tiny area just there took me, once I took apart those panels and stuff, I was probably another 2 evenings at it. But basically 4 evenings nearly in total just on that little tiny corner by the aerial. So very slow progress on the welding side of things, but during I was doing kind of treatments and stuff like that needed to dry, like rust remedies and things. So basically I would bring back the metal, cut out the area, bring back the metal all around it, rust treatment the whole area so that it nearly flooded the area in it. And then I'd have to wait for that to dry, so I'd do other stuff. So I did take out the fueling system out of the naturally aspirated Om606 w124. So that's the fuel pipe going the whole way back, or the 2 fuel pipes. What I've noticed is they're both equal diameter or equal size pipes. I think on the on most diesels, like my Pajero and that, there's one size bigger than the other. So maybe somebody might be able to tell me. This is back at the fuel tank itself, and that just broke off while removing it, like just snapped right off. And believe it or not, this is where it goes over the subframe in that car, that rear subframe. But I actually had an issue before with starting the Pajero I have, which is a 2.8 diesel, and like that, just at the point it goes over the rear axles, because that's a body on frame, where it goes over that rear cross member or rear axle, rear cross member, there was a pinhole, and it was just basically letting in air, and it was then becoming difficult to start the next time you come to it. But it just happens to be that it's in the exact same location that these have rotted out, because the pipes are fine pretty much everywhere else. And now obviously I have to rub them down. They're covered in a thick layer of grease, so I can't imagine it's going to be too much of an issue. But anyway, just a side note, I'd say if you're having a fuel air getting into the fuel system and you've already tried all the normal things like a non-return valve and that, it's quite possible that I would start looking for a hole in the fuel pipe from where the tank is rather than from where the engine is. So got the tank out, and it looks like it's a bit crusty in that, but it's not in any way bad. Like, that's lovely silver paint on the top part. There's big flakes coming off here. I'm going to have to just wire wheel it and that. There was about 10 litres of diesel in that, and I couldn't get the bottom bung open. You can see where I tried cleaning it off and everything like that. That's a 22mm nut. So I just put a 22mm nut on it, and then I was trying to basically screw that open. And like that, I just couldn't get enough leverage on it. So I decided I'd pull the pipes. And actually, now that I mention it, one of these pipes is actually smaller than the other one. So obviously the return is smaller. But anyway, I basically just opened that, and then it poured out as fuel there. The rest of it looks pretty decent. How I did it was I loosened that bolt, tightened them back up, so I know that I can break them loose basically. And I did the same for these two, and there's a cross member that goes across here. This one was rusted off, but this one I was able to loosen it off. So once I was able to remove them while these two were sitting in it, because the cross member was still in place, it was holding itself nicely. I then wheeled over this dolly here underneath the car, and basically just lowered it down, went in, took those 2 bolts out, or those 2 nuts out, and then basically it fiddled here and there, and it basically came straight out. But just to give you guys an idea, look how crusty this car is. Like, it is just in bits. There's two earthing straps back here, one just there and one's holding on this cross member, but it seems to be at the exhaust mount, but I think it's earthing. Let me see, it's an isolated, oh maybe it is actually isolated from that cross beam that holds the tank. So it's obviously just earthing the body back here rather than earthing the tank. Look at that guy. New friend for me to have in the workshop. I need more. So yeah, that's back here. I say it's fairly crusty. The exhaust was seriously badly welded. It's just basically a mismatch of things. I don't think I'll be using it, even though that back box doesn't look so bad. Then you start looking at like the likes of the welds are just in shite. So that's for the bin basically. The other thing I took out was I got the shift module, I think it might be called. Does it have a name on it here on the... Doesn't. This is from I can tell you one thing, it's from a w126, because if I look at the part number 126 270 5979. But anyway, there's a shift module from the gearbox, or the vacuum module from the gearbox in this car. So it just lived right up there. There was two little Allen keys, or Allen key bolts to remove it. That will be going into this car. With, I think I'm going to use the torque converter that's currently in this car. Maybe I'll be driving it now in a little while, so I'll find out if it's slipping a little bit. I might use the other one or buy a new one. I don't know. But anyway, that will be going in there, because I believe that module will help the shifting of the going through the gears to suit a diesel over the module that's in that would be for petrol. I think this little adjustment here basically creates your vacuum, and basically you can open and close your vacuum, as I see there as I'm opening it. I don't know. But anyway, got that out. So we haven't really been doing too much I haven't really been doing too much work on the diesel side of things, just because I've been trying to get that car welded up. But yeah, we're getting there. I'll show you the panels I'm after cutting out aside of this. It was great for getting the diesel pipes out and everything like that, because you're like, you have these lovely inspection panels, or inspection holes that I put on the side of the thing. Yeah. Alrighty guys, that's just another update. I'll try and get an update out each day this week, but again, I'm still doing this welding. So like I'm after finishing that side of the back there, but I do want to I might throw my hand to try and get it painted soon enough. I have to weld the inner arch back there. I have to weld just back here. I'll show you this hole in this, because this car is fairly rust free, but this one area of the car seems to have it. See that hole? So I won't get touching that straight away, because I will do that during the conversion, because the tank, when I'm doing the subframe polyurethane bushings, the subframe's coming down. I believe on a petrol, the fuel line actually goes through the subframe to feed the tank, whereas on diesel it fed over the top of it. So I'm going to have to take the tank out for that anyway. And I don't want to be welding in the area with the tank in place, so I need to remove the tank to do that. Yeah, the other thing I was going to do, and maybe somebody can advise, the little ECU that's in here, just back here. I was going to do a little experiment where I disconnect it and run the car and just see, even just on the auxiliary or ignition side of things, just to see what exactly that's controlling. So if it's only controlling fueling, well then I can remove it. But if it's controlling, let's say, any of the power supplies for switchgear or any of that inside the car, or lights or fan systems even, then I will probably have to keep it and figure out some way of just running it with it. But it won't be an issue if it's just stuff like the temperature, because it will run off the radiator. Alternatively, I can use the one that's in that car there. The other thing is, what do people think about leaving that wing on it versus the air supply of that wing, the diesel version? What do we think? I kind of like the diesel look, but then I also sort of like the fact that this will look very sleeper like this. Nobody will ever know. Well, they'll know when it's idling with the sound of it, but they won't know offhand. And then, like, the front is not going to show its intercoolers. My current idea is to run the 300ZX side mount intercoolers, one here and one there underneath each of the lights, and fed through those vents there, which I'll hone out in that just to make sure to get the most ample amount of flow. But in that way, it'll look totally stock essentially. That's my aim. Sure, let me know what you think, and I'll keep us updated. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.